How are you all? It's me, Sabu, and for my family in the United States, SBU. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Shout out to all those dads, those fathers. I hope everybody, listen, if you have not yet said hello or thank you, I appreciate you to some man in your life today, make sure you do so because we got to give a shout out to them also. Their job is not easy. But anyway, today's show is, I'm just kind of wrapping it up for you guys because guess what? It's almost a year that we have been on this journey to South Africa. July 1 is when we arrived here. So in that time, we've done a lot of things. We've covered a lot of information. We met a lot of people. And guess what? I've done a lot of shows. But all that to say, today is going to be a very informational type show. And I hope some of you or all of you will, just take a minute and just listen. I can't answer all your questions. I don't think I can. But I can definitely help a little because I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of inquiries. I get a lot of emails asking several questions. And I was that person who said that I am willing to give the information because somebody gave it to me. And we have been on this journey, but I want to just share with you how it all started.
Somehow, if you had the feeling within you that God wants you to move, just do it because the same way He got you, He'll figure things out for you.
We take all of that for granted because we get so comfortable in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially if you are middle class or, you just get very comfortable. We were in the same house 20 years. We were in our forever home.
It's comfortable. It's convenient there.
Oh, everything. It just makes sense. Guess what? And then the United States sets you up because they like, in 25, 30 years, you'll be done paying for your house.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't wait to not have a mortgage. Guess what?
Yeah.
I don't have a mortgage.
Right.
And it took me 90 days.
I like that.
You see that?
By you just leaving, you got rid of the mortgage.
Yes. Me taking the step to leave.
Yeah.
Got rid of the mortgage.
That's incredible.
So that must have been a pretty big thing on my list. I don't know. But I'm just saying, now, honestly, this is my first time saying this.
Mm-hmm.
But, you live in a place, because that's your dream, to be mortgage free. This is your home and all of that. So, that is definitely a testimony.
Yeah, it is.
So about 25 years ago, my husband, Mr. Boss, received a prophecy. I wish I had more details on where we were, what the young man's name was and all of that, but I have no idea because guess what? Who actually took it serious? I didn't. He wasn't speaking to me. But 25 years ago, my husband received a word from God that said you would be going to Africa. This was 25 years ago, y'all. Of course, we thank you, smile, happy or what have you, but it was forgotten probably. I don't even know. We forgot about it. But anyway, a year ago, I want to say a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, that message came back again that we needed to go to Africa, that my husband needed to go to Africa. Okay, at that time, we didn't know where in Africa we needed to be, but we just needed to go into prayer, seek God's face, listen to the Holy Spirit, and just move on that. No, none of that, what I got to do, in a minute, none of that. It's just somewhat of an urgency that we needed to go. So, of course, my husband brought this to me and, of course, reminded me of when it happened 25 years prior. And, of course, I remembered. I did. Even though we didn't move on it then, I still remembered the prophecy. So, then at that time, my husband went into daily prayer. We prayed about it. It was confirmed. So we had friends in South Africa. So we decided to come over and visit. It's like, let's just go over and see. And this was March 2023. Let me get my timing right. It was March 2023. We actually came over and we visited Africa, the continent, and South Africa for the first time. One time. We came over, my husband came over with some intentions, y'all. He was very intentional. I mean, he had his houses, he had real estate printouts. He was ready. So we came over, we saw some sites, we saw several homes. I want to say we probably saw 25 homes because he was determined that this, is where we're going. This is where we should be, and this is going to be our new home. And y'all, I left out some little particulars, but y'all get the idea, right? We was on a journey. It was time to move. I myself got the message, did not fight back. I'm going to tell you what I said, and I've said this in every video, and it's not going to change because this is what I said. I said, you know what? I can praise God anywhere. So I packed my bags and moved. Now, before we did that, I got to tell you, we saw about 25 houses that in that 10 days or 12 days or whatever that we were here. We put at least 3 offers on 3 homes, and they all were denied, okay? The house that we actually bought, my husband saw the house, but we did not bid on the house at that time because we just said, you know what, this is more money than we want to spend. We don't want to spend this type of money, and I'll get all into that in a moment. But anyway, so we left, went back home, not having an actual home, not having a contract on a house. We did. But we knew that we were moving to South Africa, so when we got back, we actually put our house on the market. Now, those of you all that know me and have been following me for a while, you probably know that my background is in real estate. I'm calling it my history. My background is in real estate. I've been a realtor for 20 plus years. So it was really easy to put a sign in the yard. I think we put that sign in the yard on April the 1st, as soon as we got back. Once that happened, it took one day, y'all, 24 hours, we received one offer on the home that was a full offer, and we accepted that offer. Okay, now, in 48 hours, we received another offer on the home, and it was a full offer too. Okay, so those of you who have purchased real estate before, you understand that the deal is not complete until all paperwork is signed and turned in. So even though we received an offer in the first 24 hours, it was not a completed, signed off contract because the person making the offer had not completed all paperwork. So we were entertaining another offer that was full offer also. So we kind of had like a bidding war going on, but we decided to go with the first person, and we contracted on the house. All paperwork was turned in. Everything was good. So we went under contract around April the 3rd of 2023. God, this seems so crazy, y'all. We're in 2025. This seems so crazy. It was that long ago. Gosh. But anyway, we went under contract. So, at that point in time, we did not have a home here in South Africa, but, we had some things on the table, some houses we had seen, and, just kind of going back and forth. Maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. So once we did get a contract on our own home, we decided to, maybe we should lock in something. Maybe we should make a bid on that house that I actually really like, but I think it's too much. I think I'm going to do this. Y'all, look at God. This is God speaking, the Holy Spirit speaking to my husband to say, go ahead and do some things. So he did it. When he did it, long of the short, they accepted the offer on the house that we felt was way too expensive. Now, we got the house under contract. Everything went okay. Now, this is where we get into the informational part of, the journey, because I know I get emails about, God has given me the urge. I feel something in my spirit. I think it's time for me to move. All of these things, I get emails from different people, and they want some information on how to do this and what should I look for, who to trust and things of that nature. Now, I must give a shout out. I'm not going to say their names because I don't know how they feel about that, but I'm going to give a shout out that we did have some friends here that allowed us to, come stay with them for a short period of time when we were looking for our place, and they were very helpful. And listen, because of them, we're here. Let's just give them credit for that. And they know who they are. We're here. Let me say this a little different. Because of them, we chose South Africa, and God actually made the transition work out perfectly, and they were a part of it. So I really appreciate them so much for that. Now, seeing that somebody did that for me, I'm willing to help with information for someone else. Unless, I had friends here just a couple of weeks ago. Y'all remember that? It's been a month ago now, and they had a good time. And if they need to transition over here, we're there for them also. So, there could be somebody out there for you. But anyway, let's go back to the information part of this. many questions. First question I get is, of course, I just told you, why did you all move to South Africa? It was something that God had been prophesied to my husband years ago, and we moved on it, and we're here. We're enjoying our stay. And as of right now, I have no idea what exactly that we're supposed to be doing, but we're allowing God to use us. And this is one of the ways He's actually using us, is by providing information to you all that want to know. Okay, going back to the real estate of it all. Okay, I do have a real estate agent that helped us that I definitely trust, and I will definitely give that information out as a referral to whomever may need that information. And I also will be there for you as a liaison to answer any questions or just to put you at ease about the transactions, because sometimes buying a home in South Africa can get a little scary. So I'm going to tell you about that too. Okay, first thing first, it is a bit different from buying in the United States, but somewhat the same. You have a contract, you have your property, or you have your land, or what have you. Excuse me. The thing that is the most different here is they don't have agency. Agency is when you have someone representing you, and they have someone representing them, and those people, those realtors, represent the interest of their parties. Typically, I'm not going to say all the time, but typically a realtor is representing the seller. So all the things that are being done is for the seller. So you kind of have to just comply, guys. You just kind of got to comply. But that doesn't mean you can't ask particular questions, and that doesn't mean you can't negotiate. There is a form of contract that is written out, but that doesn't mean you cannot negotiate and add some things to that contract. It is just not what it is all the time. So do that. Be a smart consumer and definitely do your due diligence to purchase that perfect property for yourself. But some things that are different. In the United States, we have our offer to purchase. I think it is called an offer to purchase here too. Offer to purchase and contract. I think that's what it's called here. But anyway, you do that. Here, in the United States, we just leave a little earnest money. It might be like $500, $1,000 or something like that. Here, I think it is a mandatory thing that you leave at least 10%. Yes, guys, 10%. Now that 10% goes to a conveyor, which is an attorney, and that attorney shall put that or will put that in an escrow account. Now you want to make sure that the seller or there's a conveyor there that is putting that money in an escrow account. Okay. Now they're saying it's 10%. Now, look, I'm not saying it's 100% across the board, 10%. Some may put 20%. But guess what? The money is gaining interest until you actually transfer that deed. So you're not at a loss to put that money, as much money, in that account. So, 10% is a given. But, if you feel a need to put more, I don't see how that could be an issue, but 10% is what the contract states that needs to be in the account or to make that offer. And you definitely need consideration, and they just require at least 10% consideration for purchasing a home here. All right? Y'all got that? And it goes into an interest-bearing account of the conveyor, who is an attorney. All right, once that's done, let me just tell you something about buying a home in SA. We are foreigners, guys. I know, we are foreigners. It took me some time to wrap my head around that. But we are foreigners here. And seeing that we are foreigners, they do not extend 100% of financing or credit to foreigners for buying a home. I think the going percentage is 50%. Now, that doesn't mean it's not 100% across the board, but I think it's 50%, but that doesn't mean that you may not be required to put 60% or maybe 40%. I don't know that, but I understand this part. You are a foreigner and the bank is not giving you 100%. So be ready to put at least 50% of whatever the home sales price is. Be ready to bring that to the table, or be ready to, bring it to the table, basically. The bank will and may furnish you 50%. Could be more, it could be less. All right? So note that we are foreigners. We do not have an SA number, which would be like a Social Security number in the United States. We don't have that here. So who are you? Why should I give you 50%? So that's the thought. So note that you're paying cash here, and that's for everything. It's everything. So get ready for that. So let me just tell you the little story about us. So I'm picking back up with us selling our home. If you followed me for any time, you know that me and Mr. Boss have been in the same house for 20 years. It is and was, it was our forever home. We were not moving. We were not. That was it for us. So when we actually sold our home, we were in a very, very good position. We sold our home, paid it off, and we made enough money to come here to purchase a home free and clear, cash. We were. Now, I haven't checked the market yet. A year ago, or in 2023, it was a seller's market. So not only did the value of the home triple, or if not, the value of the home tripled. And it sold really quick. I haven't been keeping up with the United States like that lately, so I don't really know what the market is like. But if that is still the market in the United States and you have gotten that urge to move and God has called you and told you and given you some, look, you need to move, then you own real estate, you need to look into it because it's something that could possibly work out for you very well. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can sell a home, okay? We were fortunate that our house sold very quickly, and we made money off of it. And, for us, it was just God setting us up. Like in the video that you saw, that was me and Captain Hayford in that video. But anyway, we spoke of that. Now, the reason why I'm talking about that is because I had never thought about us being debt-free as far as mortgage-free since we've been here. I know that sounds crazy, but I have a testimony because the faith that we had moved us to the point where we've been in our house 20 years. We were come close to being paid off anyway, right? But then we moved, and in 90 days, we were paid off. We came here. We settled on our home on July the 6th, I think it was. I could be wrong with my dates, y'all, but I think it was July 6th we settled. And it transferred on September the 6th. So on September the 6th, this home became our home, and we were mortgage-free. That was some crazy stuff, and I hadn't thought about that. So that was just this is just a confirmation to saying if you be obedient to what the Word of God is telling you to do and you try your best to live a righteous life, I'm telling you, He will make a way for you. And I'm saying that and adding that because a lot of our family members, friends, and other people that we've come in contact with have asked us why you move and they take interest in possibly moving. And I'm not saying that they've had a word from God to move or what have you, but they take interest in it. But one of the things that's always keeping them is their finances. What about, I got 2 years more to 2 more years to work before I can retire. I need to do this. I got kids. It's a lot. And I would say, if those things are what's holding you, that's probably not God telling you. We actually got a message from God that this is what needed to happen. So that's what we moved on. So definitely be obedient and stay in prayer if that's what you want to do. But again, there are so many ways to sell a home. There's an assumable loan. Some people don't really know about an assumable loan. I don't know if many people, mortgage companies, finances, they actually do that. But you can actually have someone assume your loan if you are just recently moving into your house or whatever, don't have any equity. I don't know the situation, but there's ways that you can actually sell your property if you need to move on. Just a thought, okay? But going back, so we were able to purchase our home and become debt-free within approximately 90 days. Like I said, I think we went under contract. I'm going to say contract. I think we went into, I got to tell you about this part. The transferal of the deed. I think we entered into that process on July the 6th. And it actually officially transferred on September the 6th. Now, going back to that little process, listen, guys, it's a bit different. And this is where it gets got a little scary, okay? In the United States, y'all know that things move pretty quickly all the time. You contract on a house, you take about 30 days at the end of that month, you're going into the attorney's office, you're signing on the dotted line, you're getting your keys after 2 o'clock. That's how it's done. The title search has been done. Any bills that need to be paid are on your HUD statement, your settlement statement. Everything is there for you, and boom, you're going into your house. This is a little different. I think it's because things are done a bit more manual. This is me. These are my thoughts. I don't know the behind the scenes on that part, but this is where it gets very scary because you have put for us. We actually put out cash. We paid for our home on July 6th completely. But we couldn't move into our home until after September the 6th. So all that time, y'all, yes, your money is gaining interest. Yes, it is. But you ain't moving into your house. So you're like a little nervous. You're like, oh, wow. Wonder what's going on, So anyway, that's that time where I said to myself, or when I'm saying to other people, if there's someone out there that you can talk to let them know, hey, listen, it's not you. The conveyor is real. This is not corruption. This is no scam. Everything is okay. It's just the process. Because what the process is that it's just doing the title work. It's making sure there's no water bill or taxes due. There's making sure that the street name is okay. Making sure that the owners who say they own the house actually own the house, without any debts or liens that are things that need to be taken care of. It just takes a longer process because if we go to the first step and somebody missed something on the first step, we got to go all the way back to square one and start all over again. It's a little different. And that's the time when you're really nervous because you're going to another country. You've heard all negative things. It's all about corruption. Everybody's scamming. You don't know what they say about South Africa. Y'all know what they say, right? So all that stuff is just gleaming and glooming, and it's just like, oh, did I do the right thing? So I'm here to tell you probably did the right things, but I want you all to go in on referrals. I don't want anyone out there just out there doing things on their own. I want somebody to ask somebody something before you're just out there doing it. But anyway, that part was very scary for us because, like I said, even with us paying cash for our home, it was a process. Right. And you know what? Later on, after one of our bankers said to us, you know what? You should have got a loan anyway, because it would have been, they would have secured it for us per se. If there would have been something that went wrong, then they could have been like on it because they held, the security. They held the money. So you wouldn't have lost. And then you could have paid off your loan at any time. But hey, look, did y'all hear what I said? One of the bankers, after we purchased our home, said you should have got some portion. If it wasn't the 50%, it could have been the 20%. It could have been whatever, because they would have been backing the security of purchasing the home, the money, and they wouldn't have allowed anything to go wrong. So there you go right there, y'all. Y'all can definitely do that. I mean, I recommend that way also. But again, when you don't know, you don't know. Because you can still pay off your loan once the house is paid. I mean, once it's transferred, you can still pay it off. So that was something good that we needed to learn. All right, so moving on. You purchased the home. We purchased insurances and things like that. But we're going to move on. Another thing, I'm going to go to, let's see. Of course, we were praying and researching. We're doing all this along the way, y'all, because, you really don't know what you're doing. Now, another question that I was asked is about freehold and leasehold. Now, here in South Africa, there are some areas, some estates, some places where they will not allow you to, they allow you to purchase the house, right? But the land that the house is on, they will not allow you to purchase it. It is called leasehold. And what happens is they'll allow you to lease it for 99 years. But it's not yours. Did y'all hear that? Now, some of y'all going to be like, it's me, 99 years. I ain't worried about that. Maybe, but you might have kids, and your kids might have kids. Who knows what could happen? But that is a thing here, and you want to make sure if you're purchasing a home, whether you are a leaseholder of the land or if you own it. We were fortunate enough, and I'm saying fortunate because we wanted a house and own the land that it was on. So we were fortunate enough to find a place where we could purchase the house and the land included. But that is a thing. So no matter if you own the house, you are not owning the land. But the lease is for 99 years. But it's not yours to transfer. The house, yeah, but the land, no. All right, so just keep that in mind, guys. That is something excuse me, there could be other things that come into play with that too. I don't know because that was not something that we did, but there could be some other, some other things that come into play, not owning, leasing the land, it could be. But again, it's a 99-year lease, but it's not yours to transfer. And there you go. Be careful with that. Or if you don't find it to be a problem, great, beautiful homes, y'all. Beautiful homes all everywhere. So it couldn't be an issue. Now, as far as financial goes, me and Mr. Boss, we own a business in the United States. So we were in a very good situation where we could still own that business, but allow someone else to do the day-to-day. But we are retired from that business. So that business is what takes care of us. We are two retired people, okay? Now, I've noticed since I've been here, a lot of people from the United States, and I've met some wonderful people, and I am definitely continually meeting them, and someday we all friends. We're making friends, we're building relationships. We don't know everybody. It's just we're seeing them more and more and more. Now, everybody's situation is different, but some of them, all our situations, they come out to be somewhat the same in the end. You know what I mean? We may have gotten here different, but But anyway, some of us are business owners and we still have businesses in the United States. Some of us can work abroad, but a lot of us, I think, are still have income that are coming from the United States. And so what we were able to do as far as financial goals is we set aside, we bring money here. We bring money here, and those of you that follow financial goals and things of that nature and stocks and bonds, those of you that do that understand that the rand is usually about 18, going since 2023, the rand has been around 18 to 1. So what that means is about 18 rand to our $1. So that means our $1 is weighs a lot. It weighs a lot. So it enables us to live a very good, comfortable life here, as long as we're bringing money from the States here. So what we managed to do was say, you know what, let's just kind of set ourselves up here, invest here in South Africa, and just kind of live off interest. And that's your goal. That's our goal. I'm sure that everybody else has different goals, but we want to be stress-free. We don't want no distractions. Y'all know what's going on in the United States right now, right? Y'all know, y'all see it. Now, again, we have no idea how long business is going to be good in the United States. So we are steadily preparing ourselves for the worst. That's all we can do. But that is how we are here. We're bringing it, we're making it, and we actually investing it here in South Africa because that's like the best investment for us at this time. Okay. Now, I definitely do have a realtor, and I definitely have a referral for the bank. We bank at F&B, and they have been the most helpful for us. Of course, there are other banks that you can bank at, but that's just coming from me. We have a realtor also. Now, listen, like I said a minute ago, a little earlier, if you don't like the realtor, if you talk to me and I, give you a referral to her, and you and her don't click, go somewhere else, but get you another referral. Just don't allow yourself to be out there with people that you don't know. Make sure that they've used someone else. Now, and I want to go back to the house purchase too, because it was some things that we did not do that we've later on found out from other Americans or other people that we met. We really should have done that. As far as home inspections, when we moved into our home, prior to us moving into our home, we had an assessor come out. Now, assessor would be the equivalent to someone that does appraising, and we had a general contractor come out, and he was someone that was looking for problems, issues. I want to add to that. I think you also need to have a home inspector. Now, I don't think that that's something that, and I don't know, so y'all can cut my head off if you want to, but home inspectors, I don't think that's really big here in South Africa. That's a really big thing in the United States. I don't know, but I recommend that everyone get a home inspection. right? You want to know the history of your home. You want to know if your house is, because they're mercenary. They're here to stay, but you want to know, are they stable? You want to know these things. So I recommend an home inspection. And if you got to put this in your contract, your offer to purchase saying subject to, please do. Because if any other, even in the United States, when you put your home on the market as a seller, you're disclosing everything that you know about this home to be wrong. Y'all know people lie, right? So you want to put everything, you want that home, you want a home inspection, you want an assessor, you want a GC, you want all of them people in your corner before you make a final transfer. Actually, if it could be done before you even make that offer, you want all these things inspected before you do so, because you want a very sound home. Now, I must say, we've been fortunate. There's some things, my home was not new, so there's some things you just have to do, okay? So just keep that in mind. But you're going to have to get referrals for those people, and I would say get it from someone who's had that inspector, that GC, and that assessor do work for them, so they can tell you firsthand what type of work, that they provide for you. You want professionals, definitely. Let's see. Some of us come over, we want land. For us, we wanted more community than land. So that's something that you have to decide that you may or may not want. Let's see here. Going to go back to something else. I kind of skipped over it, but we're going to go back. I did one section, we're going to do another one. What I've talked about is us being here, purchasing a home, and purchasing a vehicle. But I'm going to go back to actually getting here and being compliant, because that's a big deal. In the United States right now, y'all seeing all these illegal immigrants, right? All these people are living in the United States, have been living in the United States for 20 years, 30 years, or what have you. They have not paid taxes. They're illegal. Y'all, 30 years you've been living in a place. That's your home. I'm so sorry. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to tell you got to go. I'm not living there anymore, but come on. Let's be reasonable. You've had 30 years to get whatever it was, your green card, your permanent citizenship, whatever it was, you had all that time to do that. You owe it to the United States, or you owe it to South Africa to do the right things. My goodness, come on, right? So anyway, I say all that to say this. When you decide that you want to come to South Africa or to any other country in Africa, you want to make sure you apply for your visa. Okay, you already got your passport. You've been coming and going. You got your passport. Now we're applying for our visas. These things are going to get harder and harder to get. So if y'all are sitting around waiting for that, I don't know what, that perfect time, apply for your visa. Now, when applying for visas, y'all need to go to the Home Affairs South Africa. Go there and figure out what type of visa actually fits your situation. There are several visas there. Now, you can also talk to an attorney, an immigration attorney, but this is actually something that me and Mr. Boss did on our own, right? So you go there and you figure out what type of visa that you actually qualify for. Once you've done that, print out that application, follow those directions. This is just me telling you to do this. You can get an attorney if you like, and complete that application for that visa. Put in the paperwork and see if you definitely can qualify for that visa, whatever visa you have, applied for. It could be a retiree visa. It could be a work visa, an artist visa. It's so many different visas there. You have to figure out what, you actually qualify for. But once you've done that and you made the transition, now you're in South Africa or whatever country it is, and then now it's time to apply for permanent residency, which actually should come first. Now, some people may know their way around this. I don't, but maybe so. We were fortunate enough to get a 4-year visa, retirees, but since we've been here, we also have applied for our permanent residency. And we are now waiting on that. For some of the things I've read and instruction I've gotten, once we've been here, I think approximately 5 years, we can then apply for citizenship. It means 5 to 10 years. I don't know. Y'all give me some information. My South African family, let me know. I think it's 5 to 10 years you can actually apply for the permanent citizenship. But right now we're in the midst of the residency, and that's where we are. There are several ways you can apply for permanent residency. You just go over to Home Affairs, South Africa, and it'll list all those things. Just take a look at their website. They give you a lot of information, and you just follow directions, and you should be okay with that. Now, is there something else? Let me go back and look. Is there something else that I may have missed? Now, I think I've gotten you over here. I think I've made a way for you to get that visa, giving you enough information there. Now, once you're here, you're gonna enjoy being here. Listen, for me, it's every day is like a discovery almost. I'm learning something, I'm seeing something, hearing something that I didn't know. South Africa, the continent was not on our to-do list, a bucket list, or anything like that. This is definitely all in God's will. I definitely would say be obedient. Well, let me go back. Repent. Be obedient to God's will and His way, and He'll make sure you will get and do everything that you need to do. Y'all, it's been a pleasure being here. I'm learning, and it's about time for me now. I said after my first year, I'm going to be learning some of these languages. It's about 11 different languages they have here in South Africa. I got to learn at least one, all right? So it's about time for me to do that. It's about time for me to jump on in. We've gotten adjusted. It's about time for me to jump on in and start some things. And I hope that this video has helped somebody or is helping somebody, will help somebody on their journey to do so. Let me check and make sure that if, I haven't forgotten anything, and I'm sure I have because it is a process. But like I said, I am here at sbshow2020@gmail.com, and you all can just chime in with me. Just leave me an email. If it's something that I forgot, forgive me, but I may be able to help a little bit more. Let's see. I think I pretty much covered everything. Because, once everything else is like once you get here, as far as opening businesses, investing, and things of that nature, let's just one day at a time, one big jump at a time. Let's have some faith in getting here, being safe, and then moving on from that. Well, anyway, I just say that's a different video, or maybe that's a conversation in person. Hurry up and get on over here. But anyway, guys, listen, I hope this was helpful. I thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or additional questions, sbshow2020@gmail. You could definitely reach out to me by email. But if nothing else, y'all have a good night.